They were warned. Never harm a human's family. They paid the price. HFY stories. The galaxy had 3 unbreakable rules, learned through tears, terror, and the occasional diplomatic disaster. 1. Never bet against a Korathian in a zero-G chess match. 2. Never challenge a Velthian to a poetry slam. And 3. Screamed in every council chamber, flashed on interstellar billboards, and once carved into a moon for emphasis. Never, ever harm a human's family. The Galactic Assembly's elders, twitchy ancients with titles like Keeper of Cosmic Regrets, preached this like gospel. Humans weren't just dangerous, they were walking apocalypses when family was involved. Most species nodded, filed the memo, and moved on. But every few eons, some genius decided it was myth. Enter the Velnari, a species so obsessed with bureaucracy they'd schedule their own extinction. Their leader, Prime Archivist Zik, read the warnings, chuckled, and promptly recycled the holoscrolls. Big mistake. The Velnari weren't evil, just insufferably procedural. Their society ran on forms, stamps, and meetings about meetings. Their beige robes a testament to 12 centuries of color palette debates. Zik, adorned with badges for exemplary form filing, scoffed at human warnings. Emotional nonsense, he declared, antennae twitching. We'll study their bonds scientifically. Historians later pinpointed this as the moment Velnar Prime's golden age ended and its catastrophic paperwork era began. Their plan, approved by a 95% vote, 5% abstained for typo disputes, was to borrow a human's family member for cultural analysis. They chose Sarah Miller, a retired librarian from Boise, Idaho, known for her cat Whiskers, a tabby with a penchant for napping and knocking over mugs. Whiskers, per Velnari code, was a non-primary kinship unit. Fair game. They stole him. The galaxy winced. Across 19 sectors, alarms blared. Ancient servers whirred, shrieking, "Not again!" A dusty AI, older than most stars, coughed static and muttered, "Morons." In the Galactic Archives, Elder Vothra snapped awake from a 700-year doze, sniffed and growled, "Someone's doomed." On Earth, Sarah stood in her cozy living room, holding Whisker's empty collar, her knitting abandoned. Her face, usually soft as a library hush, hardened into something that made her succulents quiver. Sarah Miller, who'd once organized a 10,000 book catalog during a power outage, wasn't just mad, she was apocalyptic. She set down the collar, cracked her knuckles with a sound like breaking glaciers, and said words that echoed like a war drum. "You took my cat. Big mistake." The universe, sensing a storm, popped some cosmic popcorn and braced for impact. Zik, smug in his tower of triplicate forms, gazed over Velnar Prime's central registry, a labyrinth of crystal spires and humming drones. Below, in a sterile containment cube of self-cleaning nanoglass, Whiskers yawned, batting a sensor. "A historic study," Zik proclaimed to the Velnari Council, their beige robes rustling. "We'll decode human attachment, file it, and win the Galactic Research Grant." Polite claps followed, per bylaw 47C. A clerk swooned, overwhelmed. Meanwhile, Sarah was in her shed, welding a ship from library shelving, a busted lawnmower, and pure, unfiltered rage. Her playlist, tunes to wreck fools, blared. The Velnari, obsessed with protocols, never planned for a human in all-in librarian mode, a state where logic died and chaos reigned. Sarah named her ship Reason You're Sorry and aimed it at Velnar Prime. When Reason You're Sorry launched, it shattered Boise's quiet, leaving a crater and a very confused squirrel. Fueled by coffee and spite, the ship screamed through hyperspace, trailing fairy lights Sarah had meant for Christmas. Velnari analysts tracked it, filing Form 19B. Unscheduled Visitor Inquiry, ETA. 10 minutes, response time, 3 weeks. Zik, oblivious, began Phase 2. Feline behavioral mapping, sending 42 memos to 42 subcommittees. Whiskers napped, dreaming of tuna. Then Velnar Prime's systems hiccuped. Gravity flickered, tossing files skyward. Every broadcast switched to Baby Shark on loop. Elevators opened to piles of glitter. Security activated mild disturbance protocols, swapping signs from caution to slight annoyance. Zik blinked. A glitch? Sarah's ship hit atmosphere, a glittering comet of doom. The Velnari still didn't panic. They had forms. The noise wasn't bureaucratic. It was the wail of a librarian scorned. Reason You're Sorry didn't land. It obliterated the registry's parking plaza, toppling statues of perfect filing. Sarah emerged, cardigan singed, wielding a stapler and Whisker's favorite toy mouse, squeaky and worn. Her eyes, cold as overdue fines, promised ruin. Zik, watching from his tower, muttered, "Initiate apology level 1. Hollow posters of kittens appeared, with "Oops, our bad" captions. Sarah kicked one over, unfazed. Velnari guards, armed with citation pads, tried to stop her. Sarah's stapler dance was a masterpiece, pinning one guard's robe to a wall, tossing another into a hollow fountain, and stapling a citation to a third's antenna with "Return my cat" scrawled on it. The council watched, jaws dropping. "Is she armed?" "She is the arm," Zik wailed. Sarah reached the containment sector, dodging laser grids and ID scanners demanding 17 passwords. Robotic arms waved forms for conflict resolution workshops. She stapled them to the ceiling. With a grunt, she pried open Whisker's cube. The cat blinked, stretched, and promptly knocked over a console, sparking. Sarah scooped him up, stapler ready. 20 Velnari guards in reinforced beige suits aimed citation blasters. "Surrender, biological entity," barked Chief Clerk Thrin. Sarah's grin was a librarian's nightmare. She set Whiskers down, squeezed the toy mouse, and tossed it. Whiskers, fueled by feline instinct, became a tabby tornado, crashing through guards. Pads flew, blasters misfired, and one clerk dove into a recycling chute. The mouse landed under Zik's podium. Half the guards were down, the rest hiding in hollow plants. Sarah nodded. "Good kitty." "You stole my cat," Sarah said, voice like a guillotine. "So I broke your world." Zik, fleeing to a bunker, hit the panic button, triggering sirens and mandatory Form 66D. Existential dread report. Drones dumped emergency tea packets. Sarah strolled back to her ship, Whiskers purring as the registry collapsed into a Level 7 procedural catastrophe, prompting Velnar Prime's first holiday, Day of Lost Stamps. But Sarah wasn't done. In her ship, she sketched Operation Catastrophe on a library checkout slip, targeting Velnari dignity, order, and $12 in pet fees they'd charged. Sarah, with gray curls and a limp from shelving accidents, wasn't a warrior. But her love for Whiskers and knack for chaos made her a cosmic wrecking ball. The Velnari, filing incident reports, had no clue what was coming. Sarah's first target, the Velnari Data Vault, a fortress of servers regulating everything from taxes to toilet permits. She infiltrated by mailing herself in a crate labeled Urgent Forms, knowing no Velnari could resist processing it. Inside, she unleashed Whiskers. The cat, chasing a laser pointer Sarah rigged, sprinted across consoles, scrambling tax codes and rezoning parks as catnip reserves. Servers crashed, broadcasting memes of dancing cats galaxy-wide. The Vault's director, mid-audit, was teleported to a vegan cooking seminar, voted Best Tofu Innovator. Sarah, sipping tea from a mug reading World's Grumpiest Librarian, hacked printers to spew Return Whiskers flyers. The vault shut down, paralyzing Velnari finance. Clerks wailed, "It's too efficient." Sarah grinned, plotting her next hit. The Velnari, drowning in cat memes, began to fear the tabby apocalypse. Next, Sarah hit the Bureau of Civic Order, which had fined her for unapproved pet affection displays. She paid the 29 credit fine in glitter, bags of it, labeled "Hope This Sparkles." Velnari accountants, bound by law to count each speck, collapsed, muttering about the shiny plague. Entire offices halted, clerks sneezing rainbows. Sarah hacked replication pods, flooding streets with Whiskers clones. Hundreds of tabbies napping on statues, clogging drones. Political debates became shouting matches over the glitter incident. Fountains spewed catnip. Banners reading, "You did this," flapping above. Zick, in a crumbling office, shrieked, "We'll audit her." New rules demanded permits for blinking, smiling, or owning cats without 12 signatures. Inspectors swarmed, pens poised. Sarah, watching from a rooftop, grinned. "Reason you're sorry" hummed, ready for her final blow. The Velnari's order was cracking, and she was just warming up. By week 2 of Operation Catastrophe, Velnar Prime was a bureaucratic piñata, hit by a librarian with a grudge. Departments that once churned out 8,000-page sanitation reports now debated how to restart Wi-Fi. Streets jammed with rogue catnip drones. Zoning files swapped with cat haikus. The Council of Perpetual Compliance met hourly, hiding behind stacks of misfiled forms. "One human can't ruin us," Zick screamed, antennae snapping. "She's a library demon," wailed Deputy Clerk Vryn, whose office was now legally a cat sanctuary. Their bickering sparked a 4-hour debate on whether to approve their panic before recording it. Sarah, on a spire's edge, tossed Whiskers' mouse, watching drones spiral into fountains. Her mug, books, and wrath steamed. Velnari systems couldn't handle her chaos. Every glitch spawned a review, every review a committee, spiraling into oblivion. She was winning with glitter and spite. Sarah didn't need bombs. She had patience, honed by decades of shushing teens and untangling microfiche. Her next strike hit the Ministry of Cultural Standards, which had called Whiskers a disruptive influence. She hacked their holoscreens, replacing etiquette guides with looped videos of Whiskers knocking over mugs. Billboards flashed, "Pet my cat, suffer." She flooded their archives with fake forms, reclassifying ministers as honorary litter boxes. The ministry's director, mid-speech, was mailed to a Galactic book club, voted best fictional character. Streets filled with catnip fog, clerks sneezing, drones reciting Sarah's haikus. Zeke's great audit backfired. New rules for breathing permits sparked riots. Sarah, petting Whiskers, grinned as towers dimmed. Velnari society, built on order, was choking on her chaos. She sipped tea, plotting her finale, knowing they'd never recover from her wrath. Zick, trembling, launched a final stand, the ultimate compliance sweep. Inspectors, armed with clipboards, swarmed Velnar Prime, citing everything from unfiled sneezes to excessive feline vibes. Sarah saw them coming, her grin feral. "Reason you're sorry" roared, unleashing a storm of paper airplanes. Thousands of Form 88Z, complaint of cosmic stupidity. They buried inspectors, clogged scanners, stuck to robes. Clerks screamed, drowning in red tape. The sweep collapsed, servers frying as Whiskers memes looped endlessly. Buildings went dark, sirens quit. One clerk sobbing over a lost emergency nap form. Zick, atop a crumbling spire, howled, his badges tangled in glitter. Sarah, Whiskers purring beside her, surveyed the wreckage. "You harmed my family," she said. "Now pay." Not for hate, but for love. She'd broken their world, proving a librarian's grudge was galactic kryptonite. Across the galaxy, elders in the Assembly's star chamber groaned. Elder Cleith, keeper of avoidable tragedies, rubbed his 9 eyes. "They ignored the holo warnings," he croaked. Elder Zarn, analyst of Galactic Oopsies, sighed. "We sent pamphlets, webinars, a musical titled Don't Touch Humans. With snacks," muttered Elder Vix mournfully. On screen, Velnar Prime smoked. Towers fell, catnip drifted. Clerks hugged broken staplers. Sarah taught Whiskers to bat a yarn ball using a minister's sash. Cleeth activated Protocol HFY. Containment, apologies, bribes, prayers. Basket 3, Zarn said. Extra cat treats. Cleeth nodded. Find Sarah's hobbies. Besides dismantling civilizations, on Velnar Prime, Zik faced reality. Departments quit, citing feline-induced collapse. Citizens wandered, clutching shredded forms. A National Whiskers Day sparked riots. Zik, broken, ordered surrender. Sarah's lesson was sinking in, but she wasn't done teaching. Zik tried bribes, credits, titles, a cat palace. Sarah ignored them, stapling offers to a drone with "no thanks" scrawled. Whispers spread. She once shelved books during a tornado. She stared down a rude patron and made them cry. She waited at the DMV for 12 hours without blinking. Zik, trembling, called his last counsel. "We give her everything," he rasped. "Or what?" asked Clerk Plith. "More glitter," Zik sobbed. Surrender flags, made from surplus beige, rose. Peace offerings piled. Tuna cans, yarn balls, apology scrolls. A galaxy-wide broadcast blared, "Do not interfere. Human family retaliation event." Survival odds, -5%. Sarah, tweaking her ship's yarn launcher, saw an envoy approach, holding Whiskers' collar, now studded with best cat gems. She squinted, checked Whiskers for scratches, and nodded. "Smart move. Next time," Sarah said, voiced like a library fine notice, "don't touch my cat." The envoy collapsed, sobbing gratitude. Sarah patted Whiskers, who purred, oblivious to the chaos he'd inspired. Velnari officials, desperate to appease, went overboard. Surrender wasn't enough for a human whose cat was stolen. They needed humiliation. Thus began the Great Apology Carnival. Unrequested. Unapproved. Sarah watched from a shattered plaza. Whiskers napping as hover floats crawled at a groveling 3 miles per hour. Draped in banners screaming, "We're so sorry, please don't glitter us again." Zeke led, perched on a float of shredded forms, wearing a headdress of apology emails, clutching a peace collar symbolizing eternal cat respect. It was absurd, pathetic, and oddly glorious. Sarah sipped tea, her only reaction a slight eyebrow quirk. The Velnari prayed it was enough. Zik's float stopped, and he face-planted, tangled in glittery remorse. Scrambling up, he dropped to 7 knees. "Mighty human," he wheezed, "accept our groveling regret. Take these gifts." A float hissed open, revealing madness. A lifetime of Whiskers tuna, a chocolate Boise replica, a notarized Galactic Cat Lord title for Whiskers, and a gold Sarah statue, mid-shush, carved from recycled stamps. The crowd froze, awaiting judgment. Whiskers sneezed. Sarah stared, then crouched to Zik's level. "Never harm a human's family," she said, voice freezing stars. "Tell every species, every clerk, every dust mote." Zik nodded, headdress flopping. "We swear." Sarah rose, scooped Whiskers, and nodded once. Velnari collapsed in relieved sobs, their orchestra playing a wobbly Paw Patrol theme. Sarah walked to her ship, leaving a civilization in bureaucratic ruin. The carnival drifted for days, no one daring to stop groveling. Sarah's ship vanished, but Velnar Prime was done. Historians labeled it not a war, but a warning in glitter and catnip. Velnari media spun tales, solar flares, rogue festivals, avoiding the truth. One librarian, one cat, total chaos. Galactic maps redrew, marking human retaliation zones in panicked red. Embassies rewrote protocols. Meet a human? Smile. Meet their pet? Run. The Velnari rebuilt under one law, etched in neon. Never harm a human's family. Their Department of Risk dissolved, replaced by the Whiskers Council. Whiskers' face, yawning smug, became their emblem. Statues rose, songs wailed, and Whiskers got 12 medals, 3 doctorates, and a baffling Supreme Bureaucrat nomination, which Sarah declined with, "He's busy napping." Sarah's legend warped across stars. One species thought humans hid chaos vortices in their cardigans. Another mimicked librarians' glares, believing it repelled evil. A hollow series humans, adorable but apocalyptic, went viral. Sarah, oblivious, landed in Boise, her ship a scorched mess. No crowds, just her, Whiskers, and a wobbly mailbox she fixed. She unpacked a stapler, a Velnari peace treaty used as a coaster, and a melted Galaxy's Scariest Librarian plaque, which she tossed in a drawer. Whiskers claimed a sunbeam, purring. Sarah sank into her armchair, sighing. The galaxy could sort itself out. X-Post screamed, "Librarian Rex aliens, #HFY." Her coffee mug, vibrating ominously, hinted at untapped chaos. But for now, she was done. Whiskers yawned, and Boise slept, unaware of its cosmic avenger. The Assembly's elders, watching from their star chamber, slumped. Elder Zarn rubbed his claws. "They skipped the seminar." Elder Vix groaned. "We had cupcakes." Elder Cleth sighed. "Moons shifting." Another Jerry. Protocol HFY rolled out. Baskets, prayers, terror. Velnar Prime's rebuild was slow, haunted by glitter and catnip ghosts. Parents told Sarah's tale as a survival manual. Clerks pausing before decisions. Would this anger a human? Projects died. Buildings sank into lakes. The Velnari soul shifted. Bureaucracy bowed to fear of human wrath. Sarah's grudge, small but infinite, proved what Earth knew. Mess with family, lose everything. Her art wasn't revenge, it was teaching. One shattered world at a time. The galaxy learned, or prayed it had, because another Sarah was always out there, waiting. In 800 years of cosmic messes, I've seen wars, flops, and one very drunk asteroid, but Sarah Miller's saga tops them all. A librarian, a cat, and a grudge collapsed Velnar Prime, turning warnings into neon law. Never harm a human's family. Her glitter bombs, catnip drones, and paper storms broke a civilization, forcing a carnival of regret. Galactic maps now scream, "Don't touch humans." Sarah, back home, naps with Whiskers, unaware she's a legend. Was she crazy or genius? The galaxy's fairer, so I say genius. She painted chaos with love, proving humans don't fight, they teach. Like, share, subscribe. What's your fave? Sarah's stapler, Whiskers chaos, or the apology floats? Comment, and let's keep #HFY purring. The stars tremble tonight, and they should.